The true story of Elon Musk finally revealed. You won't believe what we discovered. In the heart of Silicon Valley, where dreams turn to bytes and fortunes are forged, a whisper lingers in the air. What is the true origin of Elon Musk's genius? The kind of genius that sends cars hurtling into space and dreams of colonizing Mars? Investigative journalist Anna Blake, with her fierce intuition and a heart that beats for the truth, dared to plunge into this murky abyss of secrets. Little did she know, her pursuit would unravel threads that could alter the very fabric of innovation and power. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the tech campus, but shadows loomed larger than life. As Anna pedaled her bike through the bustling streets, she couldn't shake off a feeling deep in her gut. Elon Musk, touted as a revolutionary, a visionary, wasn't just a man. He was a puzzle wrapped in mysteries, so thick they could choke the brightest minds. She had to connect the dots, and fast. But to understand the enigma of Musk, she needed an insider. Enter Jake, the charming executive at Tesla, with a smile that could light up a room and secrets he wore like armor. They met routinely, his laughter often laced with a hint of something deeper, darker. Intrigued, Anna found herself drawn to him, both a beacon and a barrier in her investigation. Could he be the one to unlock the vault of information she desperately sought? Or was he a risk she hadn't fully realized? As her research delved deeper, Anna stumbled onto something perplexingly sinister, a strange symbol appearing in Musk's old journals, one entwined with a clandestine society that skirted the fringes of technology and power. Images of initiation rites, whispered promises of innovation, and ambition shrouded in mystery, swirled around her. The discovery sent chills down her spine, igniting a fervent desire to expose a narrative that could reshape the world's view of genius. What if these breakthroughs weren't born from sheer brilliance, but rather from something darker, an insatiable thirst that consumed all in its path? Yet the closer she got, the murkier it became. With every piece of evidence, whispers of conspiracy tangled around her thoughts. Who could she trust? Jake's intentions were clouded, leaving her vulnerable. Just when she felt herself nearing the truth, a cryptic message arrived on her phone. Stay away. Musk's ambitions are tied to forces you don't understand. The weight of that warning sank into her, bones like lead. Could she expose the reality behind the man heralded as the savior of technology? As fear clawed at her, Anna realized the stakes were getting too high. Revealing these secrets might cost her everything: her integrity, her career, or potentially her life. What sacrifices was she willing to make? The answer began to blur, just like the line between genius and madness. Curiosity ignited into determination. As the sun disappeared completely, Anna stood at the precipice of revelation. A story waited to be told, one that could challenge the very nature of innovation. With her heart racing, she realized that uncovering the truth wasn't just about Musk, but about confronting the darkness lurking in society itself. Ei, antes de continuarmos com essa história incrível, preciso te fazer um alerta importante. Muitos inscritos têm relatado que o YouTube removeu suas inscrições sem aviso. Dá só uma conferida rápida no botão vermelho aí embaixo para garantir que você ainda está inscrito no canal. Não quero que você perca nenhum conteúdo exclusivo que vem por aí. E já que você está aí, deixa aquele like poderoso que me ajuda muito com o algoritmo. E me conta nos comentários de qual cidade você está assistindo. Adoro conhecer cada pessoa incrível que faz parte dessa comunidade. Sua participação faz toda a diferença. Vamos interagir. Kind of content. As Anna stood at the edge of revelation, her heart racing, she felt the night air grow tense around her. The streetlights flickered above, casting eerie shadows that danced like specters of doubt in her mind. What if the truths she sought were too heavy to bear? Suddenly, her phone buzzed violently against her thigh, pulling her from her thoughts. It was a message from Jake. Meet me at the cafe. I have something urgent to tell you. Trust me. Her gut twisted. Did she really trust him? But the urgency in his words stirred something deep inside her. Hope mixed with a tingling dread. She hopped back on her bike, pedaling faster, the wind whipping her hair back like a banner of defiance. When she arrived at the cafe, her mind was a storm. She spotted Jake seated at a corner table, his face obscured by shadow, and a frown that seemed to stretch across his handsome features. As she slid into the seat, she couldn't help but notice his hands trembling slightly. The facade of the charming executive was cracking, and it scared her. Anna. His voice was low, strained. You need to listen. There are things about Musk that nobody talks about. Things I've buried because I didn't want to believe them. What do you mean? Her pulse quickened, each word igniting a fire of fear. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small, weathered notebook. This belonged to Musk before he became who he is now. It's all here. Secrets, plans, connections to that society you mentioned. Her breath caught in her throat. You're serious? What kind of secrets? Jake looked around, his eyes darting like a trapped animal. You don't understand. They're not just about technology. It's about influence, control, and they're dangerous. He flipped to a page, revealing sketches of symbols she'd seen before. They were drawn alongside notes in Musk's handwriting, words that hinted at world domination through technology. Her stomach turned. This was bigger than she anticipated. Much darker. Then, in an unexpected moment of clarity, Jake leaned closer, whispering urgently, "They've been watching me. Watching us." Just then, the cafe door burst open, and 3 men in dark suits entered, their presence heavy with authority. The air around Anna turned icy. They scanned the room, finally resting their eyes on Jake. Instinct kicked in. She grabbed Jake's arm. "We need to go." But before they could move, one of the suited men approached their table, his expression impenetrable. "Jake Rinaldi," he said, voice smooth as silk yet edged with steel. Jake froze. "What do you want?" The man smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You've been digging too deep, my friend. It's time to stop." Anna's heart pounded. Who were these people? What danger had she stumbled into? "No, I will not stop." Jake fired back, adrenaline fueling his defiance. A silence fell over the cafe. The tension was palpable. Fear of the unknown, gripping Anna's throat like a vice. Without warning, the lead man snapped his fingers. In an instant, the other 2 men closed in, and Jake lunged for Anna, dragging her with him as they bolted for the door. But the suited men were faster. They blocked the exit, their shapes looming like shadows of doom. Anna's mind raced. Was this the end? She caught a brief glimpse of Jake's terrified face, his resolve shattering, and in that moment, everything shifted. "Run!" Jake shouted, his voice a desperate command as he pushed her ahead. She stumbled through the throng of people, her heart hammering in her chest. She couldn't look back. She didn't dare. All her research, her quest for truth, was turning into a nightmare. Trust was slipping away like sand through her fingers, and the reality of who Jake truly was began to unravel in her mind. The intensity of the chase made her pulse race. She turned a corner, the streets blurring around her. What had they both stepped into? What had Jake hidden behind his charming smile? And more importantly, who was truly in control here? As she fled into the night, the weight of uncertainty draped over her like a shroud. The secrets were darker and more dangerous than she had ever imagined, and the path ahead was cloaked in shadow. Anna's heart pounded as she tore down the street, Jake's warning ringing in her ears. She couldn't let those men catch her. Her thoughts raced, churning in a mix of fear and confusion. What had Jake truly gotten her into? She darted down an alley, her bike forgotten, and pushed her way through the throng of bodies on the sidewalk. Each face blurred past her. Shouts echoed behind her, the suited men closing in. Panic clawed at her throat. They were coming! She turned sharply, her breath hitching in her chest. "Where do I go? What now?" she gasped to herself. Just then, her phone buzzed again. She fumbled to check it, nearly dropping it in her haste. The screen lit up with a message from Jake. "Meet me at the old observatory. Trust me." Trust. The word felt heavy now. How could she rely on him? But instincts screamed for her to follow. She had to see what he had to say, to understand the mess they were caught in. With a burst of adrenaline, she sprinted toward the observatory on the edge of town, her legs feeling like lead as the distance seemed to stretch unnaturally. A tangle of doubt wrapped around her mind. What if Jake was playing her? She shook her head, pushing through the insecurity. Minutes later, she arrived, breathless and wide-eyed. The old building loomed ahead like a ghost of the past, its tall telescope pointing toward the night sky. She hesitated, scanning for threats in the shadows. The heavy door creaked as she pushed it open. The stale air wrapped around her like a cold blanket. Inside, Jake waited, leaning against the dusty counter, a statue of tense anxiety. His expression flipped from relief to worry when she crossed the threshold. "Anna!" He rushed to her, almost collapsing with intent. "You made it! They're right behind you!" She could hear the distant voices echoing in the darkness outside. Fear gripped her. "What's going on, Jake? What did you find? Why are they after us?" He opened his mouth, but a series of loud footsteps interrupted. Panic surged through Anna as she backed away, clutching her phone. The door burst open. No, not just opened. It was flung aside, revealing a chaotic scene that left her breathless. In walked not just the suited men, but a dozen dark figures in hoods. They surrounded Jake and Anna, a wall of authority and secrecy. Jake Rinaldi, the lead man, spoke, eyes pinning them like prey. "You've made a grave mistake." Jake, whites of his eyes glistening, turned to Anna. desperation oozing from his every pore. I was going to tell you everything, but it's bigger than we thought. They don't want you here. What did he mean? Before she could process, the lead man waved a hand, and the figures closed in like a tightening noose. Enough games, he said coldly. You've seen too much. It's time for that to change. Change? Anna's voice trembled, her heart racing. What do you mean? Who are you people? As if in answer, another figure stepped into the dim light. Anna's breath hitched. It was her old mentor, Dr. Katz, the figure from her past she had idolized. The revelations that came with seeing her made everything spin. He had been a mantle of knowledge, always guiding, and now here he was, standing among the hunters. Anna, he said gently, his voice a soft contrast to the men around them. I didn't want this for you. You must understand. Some truths are best left buried. The room felt tense. Whispers of betrayal hung in the air. Her mentor, part of this? The world she had known began to shake beneath her. Dr. Katz, she gasped. You? Why? What's really going on here? I sent you to uncover the truth. But now you're in too deep. It's not just Elon Musk we're dealing with. It's much larger. Larger? Confusion twisted through her. Before she could grasp his meaning, he stepped forward, beckoning Anna close. You need to know, Anna, Jake is not who you think he is. Her heart sank, dread washing over her like ice water. What are you saying? He's a plant, placed to monitor you, Katz revealed, his gaze piercing. Everything you discovered was orchestrated. For a purpose, Anna. You've become the target. The ground beneath her feet felt like it crumbled away. Was she just a pawn in some twisted game? Jake's stunned silence echoed loudly, shattering her trust. No, it can't be. But the truth hung there, heavy. The stakes had risen far beyond anything she'd imagined. Run, Jake whispered urgently, as his world fell apart around him. And just like that, all of Anna's convictions teetered on the precipice. She stood there, at a crossroads, unsure of what to do next, what truth to embrace. In that moment, Anna found herself surrounded by shadows on all sides, the very fabric of her reality fraying. What would happen next? How deep did the deception run? And at what cost would the truth finally be revealed? I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that. 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 I'm sorry, but I can't assist with that.